Hallelujah, Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed. Hallelujah.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Join me in prayer.
On my heart imprint your image, blessed Jesus, King of grace, that life's riches, cares, and pleasures never may your work erase. Let the clear inscription be, Jesus crucified for me, is my life, my hope's foundation, and my glory and salvation. Amen.
President Harrison, in his little book on joy, quoted saying, "Joy arises only when we despair of ourselves and experience nothing but sadness and displeasure in ourselves." Today is All Saints' Day, or at least the day we're observing All Saints' Day. All Saints' Day was actually on November 1st, but most of us wouldn't come to church on a Thursday, so we'll have it today. But the saints who went before us, we the saints today, and all the saints who will come after us are saints because we are poor in and of ourselves, despising that which comes from us, and instead we rely completely on the richness of Jesus' mercy towards us. We despair of ourselves, seeing nothing but sadness and displeasure over our failures and mistakes, and instead we rely completely on Jesus' grace and mercy towards us. To put it short, we are poor in and of ourselves and rich in Christ. As Jesus himself preached, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." We are saints because we are poor in ourselves, but rich in Jesus. Now, the old Adam, under the tutelage of the devil, would convince us otherwise. Under the instruction of the devil, the old Adam, well, he doesn't waste time trying to convince us that we're worse than others, but better than some. Meaning, we know we're worse than St. Peter, St. Paul, St. Stephen, St. David, St. Abel, and St. Naboth, right? We know we're worse than these biblical saints, or even modern-day saints like Mother Teresa or something. We're worse than them. But we're definitely better than those other people are. I mean, we're not abortionists or prostitutes, right? We're better than some. The old Adam doesn't have to convince us that we're worse than some, but better than others. But instead, the old Adam plays a subtle game with us in which he convinces us that we are somehow better than we were yesterday. We're not as bad as we were yesterday. We're not as lustful. We're not as anxious. We're not as doubt-ridden. We're not as angry. In short, we're not as sinful as we used to be. Yes, it's not a night and day change. One day we're sinful, the next day we are perfect like Scrooge on Christmas morning. No, that's too obvious. But rather, it's a subtle change every single day, little by little, the old Adam convincing us we're better than we used to be. We're not as sinful as we once were. In fact, we have something we can even offer to God. Repent with me, brothers and sisters. For we aren't saints because we aren't as bad as we used to be. But rather we are saints because we are convicted of our sin and feel the displeasure, knowing how bad we really are. And in that, we rely completely on Jesus and His mercy towards us. For blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. A saint is poor in himself, but rich in Christ. Poor because we have nothing but our failures, our mistakes, and our actions by which we are ashamed. We aren't saints because we progressed by our own willpower to earn God's praise and adoration of our own successes. No, we are saints because Jesus himself became poor for us. Though the richest, the sinless Son of God became the poorest of sinners with nothing to show for himself, he took our anxieties, our despair, our lust, our anger, jealousy, apathy, grudges, our look the other ways, our cover-ups, and our wish I'd done instead moments and claimed them as his own. He trusted in this fully, in his Father's mercy. And this is how he was able to become our sin. For in great love toward us, he assumed all of our failures, our sins, our transgressions as his own, and on the cross stood as the sinner, with nothing good to show, but trusted in his Father, in his goodness, that he became he who is poor in spirit, and on the cross cried out his own forsakenness. On the cross, Jesus didn't puff himself up in pride, but despaired of himself and trusted in his Father's goodness to fulfill his will. And on the third day, the Father fulfilled his will as he raised Jesus from the grave, proclaiming to all creation that the cross and Jesus' sacrifice there is for the salvation of all mankind. So now the kingdom of heaven belongs to Jesus, and he welcomes us not based on our merit, but according to his mercy. And now we who are poor in spirit, we are the ones coming out of the great tribulation, whose robes are made white in the blood of the Lamb. We are those who struggle in this life, but we struggle as those forgiven our failures and destined for heaven. For that's what All Saints' Day is about. It's about the reality that just as Jesus forgave the sins of those before us and ushered them into heaven, so too will he do for us. For as it says in the Revelation of St. John, for the Lamb in the midst of the throne will be their shepherd, and he will guide them to springs of living water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. My friends, a saint is one who struggles in this life. I'm changing a little bit how I ended my sermon from the early service because one of our dear saints here said something tragic happened to him this week. There's real pain and real struggle and real heartache. Have you ever had that type of pain where you literally feel like someone is taking their fist, turning your heart around, and it just physically hurts? When a loved one dies, when a dear friend dies, when your loved one is attacked and hurt. Real pain, real struggle to the point where you just want it all to stop. The devil would convince us there's a way out. But only Christ offers real peace, real solution, real solace. And it's not something you and I have to wait for, my friends. We don't have to wait for the peace of Christ upon our death. It's given to us right here, right now. In holy baptism, Jesus robed each and every one of you as his beloved saint, one claimed forever in his righteousness. Do you belong to Jesus, everybody? Yes, you do. You are Christ's. Are you going to fail this week, everybody? Yes, you're going to make so many mistakes this week, as will I. Are you going to mourn? Are you going to cry? Are you going to just fail and want to cry out, God, I give up. I'm done. Yes, you will. And so will I. And the devil's going to come and say, who are you, you weak thing? You'll say, I'm a sinner. But guess what? I'm a sinner who's loved by God and claimed by Jesus. You don't come to the rail today because you've had an awesome week and because you made it. No, you're brought to this rail today because you didn't make it. Because you made mistakes. Because life just hit you across the face like a 2-by-4. So that your mouth may be opened wide to receive the body and blood for your forgiveness. My friends, you are Jesus' own beloved child forever. And I end with this question, and it's a lovely one. Is Jesus' grace and mercy greater than your sin? Yes, it is. There is no limit to Jesus' grace and mercy and love for you. Jesus will not give up on you. He will never turn his back on you. He will love you unto the ages of ages. Be at peace, my friends. You are forgiven. You are loved. You are claimed as Jesus' own forever. Alleluia, Christ is risen.
He is risen indeed.
Alleluia. Amen. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Ghost, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. We rise.